where I'd like to go with this, like I said, is 5 ways so good men can know, and also women can just start to understand, hopefully, and see how we're different. There's 5 ways your wife might diagnose you as neurodivergent, and seeing the differences between us as women and good men. And I took this from, I found it's like a Quora post from a licensed counselor, and it was about how your husband might be autistic, and here are the most common signs of autism in a grown man that you might see in your husband. And so I'd like to take these and say, no, these are not a neurodivergence. This is just outlining the difference between good men and women. So number 1 of how your wife might diagnose you as neurodivergent is that you're gullible, that you're easily tricked and manipulated. And this one to me was like, hello, the person a good man is most easily tricked and manipulated by is his wife. And the reason for that isn't because you're on the spectrum or you're neurodivergent. It's because as a good man, you don't have it in you to trick and manipulate. So you can't see the games and the manipulation at play. You can't catch it. So you easily fall into the traps when you're being manipulated or tricked by your wife or someone else in your life. And your wife sees that and like, something's wrong with him. Why is he so gullible? And the difference is that as women in general, we are not gullible because we are manipulative and do trick people. So we can see it and know it. It's why you sometimes think, for the men listening, it's why you sometimes think like, God, does she have a sixth sense? How does she know? How does she know? It's because we're not easily tricked and manipulated. And we see it in other women. We can easily see when a woman is being fake with us and she's pretending to be nice, but she's actually, part of my language, being a real bitch. Or when she's being nice to our face, but we know she's talking about us behind our back, or she's lying to us. It's because we can see it because we have that wiring. Not to say we can't be gullible as women, because we can meet a woman that just blows us out of the water in her ability to manipulate. But in general, we can see it and spot it. The second way, number 2, your wife might diagnose you as neurodivergent, is your routines. And she thinks you are too attached to your routines and have too many routines. And that isn't because you're neurodivergent or autistic or on the spectrum in some way. It's because good men like routine and structure. It's what makes you feel a comfort and helps you to feel stable and consistent and emotionally settled. You are, in general, good men are steady and consistent and predictable. It's why as women, we think you're boring. Again, it's just another difference between us, not good or bad or right or wrong, just another difference between us as men and women. As women, in general, we like chaos and drama and disruption of routine. That's what makes us feel alive and engaged in life. We abhor structure. As women, we abhor structure and routine because we want to do what we want to do, and we think it's boring to have that routine. Structure holds us accountable, and we don't want accountability. So we want to do what we want to do when we want to do it and thrive on that instability because, again, it makes us feel engaged and alive. Ergo, why we are attracted to bad boys, because they're chaotic and we think that's exciting. And it adds drama and passion to our lives. So again, that's another way, routines. The third way, your wife might diagnose you as autistic or neurodivergent. Number 3, you are unusually honest. Good men are just direct in their communication and they say what they mean. So in actuality, when a woman thinks their husband is being too direct or brutally honest, what's happening is that a good man's actually telling his wife how he's feeling and what his challenge and issue is and what he would like for her to change in the relationship. And as women, we can't handle that. So as women, we're evasive and we're pain avoiders and we live in our stories. We are not honest. So that's the difference between us. And we will tell a good man, just be honest with me. How many of you listening in the comments or the chat have your wife said, I just want you to be honest with me. And you are, and then she shreds you a new one. We say we want the truth, but we can't handle the truth. It's like my dad's favorite movie, A Few Good Men. Jack Nicholson, you can't handle the truth. That's us as women. We can't handle the truth. So when men are honest with us and direct with us and just tell it like it is, then we freak out because we see that honesty as hurtful and insensitive to us. Just wired differently. Number 4. It's a big one. Number 4 of how your wife might diagnose you as neurodivergent and being on the autistic spectrum. Number 4 is having an empathy deficit. Having an empathy deficit. When in reality, what's happening in a marriage between a woman and a good man is that he's been emasculated and made to feel wrong and bad. His feelings are constantly dismissed and not taken into consideration. So over time, a natural consequence of being emasculated, of having your feelings dismissed, is that a good man will disconnect and shut down in the relationship. So as women, we perceive that is that they've changed, something about them's changed, they're lacking empathy, when in actuality, we have no capacity for empathy as women with our walls up. In our marriages as women, we live with our walls up. I have a video on why your wife thinks you lack empathy, something along that way or along those lines. But we're disconnected from ourselves and our walls. And because we blame you for the issues and the challenges and our unhappiness, we have no ability to have empathy to let in how our husbands are feeling or what they might be going through or their issues and problems in their relationship. When in actuality, we're the one creating that environment in the relationship through the emasculation and through pushing our husbands away with our walls up, and then project onto men that they can't identify our pain, can't relate to us, don't notice when we have something troubling us and just ignore us. That is a result of our own behaviors. That again, our behaviors have consequences. You can only shut your husband down. You can only push him away for so long or tell him how he's feeling is wrong so many times and for so many years before he checks out. And he feels resentful. Well, my feelings don't matter, so why should I care about hers? He's not doing that to be intentionally hurtful. It's a natural consequence of how he's been treated over the years. So that's number 4, is having an empathy deficit. And the 5th and final way that we're going to cover today of how your wife might diagnose you as neurodivergent or being on the spectrum is that you were very attentive in the beginning of the relationship, and then you stopped being attentive after getting married. So this is another really good projection and another consequence of what happens from the emasculation. We project onto men as women that they bait and switched, that you were super attentive in the beginning of the relationship to get the prize and get married. And then you change after getting married. When that is not the case when a woman is married to a good man. What happens of why you feel your husband is not as attentive as he was when you were first dating and before you got married is that we have pushed them away so much and told them over and over and over again, overtly and covertly, that nothing they do is ever enough. It's not right. And so what happens over time is a good man eventually stops trying and he stops paying attention and he stops doing the things he used to do because it's never right. It's never enough, or he never gets appreciated for it. What can also happen is, bless good men, they'll keep doing those things and keep being attentive, but it's a projection of as women, we're so checked out in the relationship. We're not attentive at all. And because we don't want to see that and face that within ourselves, we project it onto our husbands. And all we can see are the things that they're not doing, are the things we think they should be doing that they're not. And we focus on the negative and we miss all the wonderful things and thoughtful things our husband will do for us. It is actually as women that we bait and switch. I have another video you can check out on Did Your Wife Bait and Switch? We're the ones that bait and switch. We have a facade in the beginning of the relationship, and we're not the same woman after getting married. We get the marriage and the guy for our agenda, and then eventually we can't keep the facade up. The facade drops, and everything does change in the relationship. But that's on us from dropping that facade and not being who we were. And then we think that doesn't come with consequences. So those are the 5 ways that your wife might, just in case she hasn't already, or maybe you've experienced this, but 5 ways your wife might diagnose you as neurodivergent. Hello again. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch today. For those women listening who know you are the problem and you want a path forward to change your woman ways and truly be happy in yourself, I have a course for women called the Happiness Program. And the Happiness Program teaches you to resolve the unhealthy relationship you have with yourself so that you can be the solution to the issues and challenges in your marriage and your life. You can find the link in the description below to learn more about the course and apply to enroll. For the good men listening who want a way to take back the power you've unknowingly given away to your wives, I also have a course for you called the Marriage Rescue Course for Good Men Only. And the course teaches you how to rebuild your strength and confidence so that you can navigate the relationship with your wife in a healthy, constructive way. Again, you can find the link below in the description to learn more about the course and apply to enroll. Again, thank you so much for watching today, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.